Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 6th annual Senator Edgar H.PRICE Annual Achievement Dinner. This year we are honoring the shining star of our community, Dr. Angus Woodward Graham, Jr. The theme of this year's event is Images of Caring, and what a fitting theme. Dr. Graham is well known for his contributions to our community as both a pediatrician and later on as a radiologist. Indeed, from the time Dr. Graham purchased Manatee Diagnostic Center, he has ensured the company and its employees participate in the many charitable events in Manatee County. He's also been a willing partner to Manatee County Rural Health Services and has ensured all patients referred from us, regardless of their ability to pay, receive high-quality, necessary services to help them on their road to health. Dr. Graham is truly a caring individual in both his private and his professional life. Dr. Graham, we will hear more about you as the evening progresses, and I salute you, of course, as our 6th annual recipient of this award. Before we go further, let me share with you a few points about the purpose of Manatee County Rural Health Services Foundation. This foundation is dedicated to supporting Manatee County Rural Health Services in its mission to provide the highest quality primary and specialty care and preventative health education to anyone who needs services regardless of their ability to pay. The Foundation's main goal is to ensure continued financial viability for Manatee County Rural Health Services while also providing resources to help the underserved in our community and securing funding for capital projects and services. I'm very proud to be associated with Manatee County Rural Health Services, the Foundation, and believe it to be the mission of both the Foundation and of the organization to provide those services. Again, thank you very much for coming tonight. Enjoy the evening, please, and the special opportunity we have to honor Dr. Graham. At this time, I would ask you all to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation by Father Joel Morsch. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father Morsch.
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we seek your blessing on Manatee County Rural Health Services Foundation and their mission among us. Bless this meal that we receive from your bounty. Consecrate the fellowship that we share this night. Look favorably on those we honor this evening and consecrate this fundraising effort. Finally, we remember before you all poor and neglected persons of Manatee County, whom it would be easy for us to forget, the homeless and the destitute, the old and the sick, and all who have no one to care for them. Remind us to help those who are broken in body and spirit, and to turn their sorrow into joy. Grant this, O Father, for the love of your Son, Jesus Christ, who for our sake became poor and dwelt among us. Amen.
Be seated, please. John Mckay has been a state senator that represented our area for many, many years, and he also achieved quite a status in the Florida Senate as being president of the Senate. John did a super job while he was involved in politics, but I think the thing that I appreciate more than anything else that is he was always a friend, and now he is the chairman of the Manatee County Rural Health Services Foundation. Will you please make Senator Mckay welcome?
As someone once told me, I should always be Charlie's friend because of two things. One, he had those tight shirts that were tailored for him, and two, he could arrest you. Charlie, thank you for that introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Manatee Rural Health Services Foundation, I would like to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. This is the 6th annual Senator Edgar H.PRICE Jr. Lifetime Achievement Awards dinner. Unfortunately, we lost Senator Price this year. Those of you who knew him are aware of his life's record was indeed one of achievement. Keeping with that thought, every year we honor an extraordinary individual for his or her contributions to our community, someone who has contributed in their own way to make Manatee County a better place to live. This award is an excellent way to recognize those persons and to pay tribute to Senator Price's ideals. Dr. Angus Graham is certainly one of those people. No one deserves this honor more, and it is a personal privilege to be able to participate in this tribute to Dr. Graham. Angus, I'd like to offer my personal thank you for those that you serve at the One Stop Center and its mission to help those who are homeless. Your contributions are invaluable. I'd now like to recognize the previous recipients of this award. Of course, there was Senator Price. Former County Commissioner Pat Glass was the next honoree. I think Pat's here. Pat, would you please stand? Then there was Hal and Joe McRae and Dr. George Thomas. I believe George is here too. George, would you please stand and be recognized? And last year, Florida's former First Lady, Rhea Childs, was the honoree. I'd also like to take a moment to introduce the board members of the foundation. I'd appreciate if you'd please stand up when I call your name. Sheriff Charlie Wills, Colonel Mickey Presha, Bruce Meade, and Dr. Jeff Orenstein. Thank you so much for your service. These gentlemen play a significant role in determining the course of the foundation and work to support the mission of Manatee Rural Health Services. That mission is to provide quality health care to everyone, regardless of their ability to pay. Without a doubt, Dr. Graham is the embodiment of that goal. And again, we thank him for all his contributions to our community, and I thank you for joining us this evening. Now it's my privilege to introduce the person that has made Manatee County Rural Health Services the successful organization that it is today. So please give a warm welcome to my friend, its President and CEO, Colonel Mickey Presha.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 6th Annual Senator Edgar H. Price Jr. Lifetime Achievement Award dinner. As many of you know, this dinner is the primary fundraiser for the Manatee County Rural Services Foundation, and it is also one of the central events in our county each year. This dinner is truly a great opportunity for the community to come together, enjoy a pleasant evening, and honor a deserving individual. This year we are, as previously stated, honoring Dr. Angus Graham Jr. for all of his stellar accomplishments in pediatrics and radiology. And we'll be talking more about him later. But first, I want to take a few minutes and talk about that special individual for whom this award is named, Senator Edgar H.PRICE, Jr. This event is named after one of the most amazing men that I've had the privilege of meeting in my lifetime. Although most of us know him for all of his public things that he's done in his professional life that's made him famous throughout the state, it is his total contributions, unselfishly and without any fanfare. He took care of so many people who needed him, including people who he sent to college from his own personal funds, took care of mentoring guys like me and a lot of others. And he also had an integral part in saving rural health from a demise in 1984. When the board recruited me in 1984, we were in what the federal government called exceptional grant status. The exception in this case was not good. Yeah, they gave us an opportunity to close it or join Suncoast and Ruskin. Senator Price intervened, unseated, contacted appropriate people in Atlanta and Washington and said to them, give Mckay an opportunity to head this ship. I know he'll turn it around. And with that, I worked my hardest to prove him right and recruited a magnificent senior leadership team to assist in that regard. I met our beloved friend and mentor nearly 4 decades ago. From that first meeting, Senator Price was not only kept me on the straight and narrow, and most of you out there know that was some task. He also was just a very good friend, and I could always depend on him for doing anything that I needed him to do. His passing earlier this year has left a huge void in my heart. Again, we're here to honor Dr. Graham. I wanted everyone to realize why this honor and why this awards dinner is so very special. And that is because this award exemplifies the life lived by our good friend, Senator Price, a life of quiet dignity, accomplishment, respect, and love. Please watch this brief video tribute about Senator Price. It is from the first annual dinner when he was the first recipient. We've come to the moment that we're all here for. In the words of one newspaper article, as is captioned, to try to think one of the counties and states, the country's finest citizens, Senator Ed Price. A man who has achieved so much in his personal and professional life, a man who does not know how to say no. If you ever go into his office, you'll find more awards and certificates than any office I've ever been in, and I've been on a lot. My daddy used to tell me when I was a boy that family and friendship are sacred trust. Senator Price, sir, you have given all us here something sacred, something that has touched each and every one of us in a profound and positive way. It's my belief that all human beings strive through some form of religion, some spirituality, or some mythology to achieve that which is immortal. Sir, on behalf of your friends that will appear here tonight, and I think it's at least over 450 people here tonight. We have 44, 45 tables, and some people standing around. On behalf of all of them, sir, I now salute you.
Well, how do you say thanks to what's happened here tonight? This is the most sterling moment in my lifetime. And I've been to a few and had a few awards, but never anything like this. And I particularly appreciate, in addition to those you've just seen on this video, appreciate what they had to say, but to every person who's come here tonight, to pay tribute not only to me, but also to the best healthcare organization in the state of Florida, as far as I'm concerned. That's Manatee Rural Health Service and our new foundation. I want to join with what's been said about the foundation and about Rural Health Service. And I hope that those of you here tonight, if you have not been acquainted with rural health, that you will take the time to visit one of the sites, contact one of the people in charge, and find out what rural health is all about, and that you'll understand that giving to this foundation, which will support rural health, will do so much to aid and assist, particularly those who are less fortunate than many of us. I know that I've seen it happen so many times that a mother and a child badly needing medical care but have no money whatsoever have been able to go to rural health and get that care that they need. Or watch those of a family that have very, very little and are expecting a child and receive the wonderful care that they through rural health. And I just have enjoyed having a little bit of relationship with them and look to do everything in my power in the future to help them continue to help the community. And may I say to each one of you at every table out there, I had a chance to speak to so many of you that I haven't seen in a long time. I love you for coming, and you've really, every one of you, have just put an extra beat in this old 90-year-old heart. And I don't think I'm deserving of any of this, but I do want you to know that I appreciate it, and I'm enjoying it, and there's no way in the world that I could give back enough to Manatee County and the state of Florida for what they've given to me, and it's been a privilege to have a possibility of sharing a little bit of it. And I just deeply thank every one of you and all of those involved for this evening, which has made my life a more wonderful life than ever before. Thank you.
Senator H.PRICE was a remarkable man. He was an extraordinary man. He was a politician, obviously, that ran for election, but Senator Price did not see Democrat and he did not see Republican. He simply saw what needed to be done, and he did it. It almost brought a tear to my eye, Mckay, when to see that video after that first night. But I think I can safely say, and say without fear of contradiction, that everybody that knew Senator Price loved him. Enjoy your dinner. We have a number of elected officials and dignitaries here tonight that I would like to recognize. First of all, the Sheriff of Manatee County, Brad Stubbe. Sheriff Stubbe. A guy that's kind of close to my heart. He's the police chief of Palmetto, Rick Wells. Manatee County Administrator, Ed Hunsaker. Where are you, Ed? From the Manatee County Commission, we have Commissioner Vanessa Baugh, Commissioner Bessie Banak, I think Commissioner John Chappie is here, Commissioner Robin DiSabatino, Commissioner Carol Whitmore, Commissioner Larry Bustle. You'll hear from him in a few minutes up here, and Commissioner Michael Gallen. Also from the Manatee County School Board members, Julie Aranabar, my good friend. Julie? And I have Dave Miner. Have you seen him? I haven't seen him. Where is he? Dave Miner is here. Dave? Good. Okay. Thank you, Dave. And Karen Carpenter. Remember Karen Carpenter? One other guest is somebody that's very special to us. He's from the Manatee County Chamber of Commerce, Bob Bartz. Now we have a brief video, Manatee County Rural Health Services video.
In 1978, community leaders saw a healthcare need for those in rural parish. Because of their efforts, Manatee County Rural Health Services was founded. 35 years later, with vision, leadership, and dedication, Manatee County Rural Health Services has grown to serve over 92,000 patients, providing them with nearly 450,000 office visits last year. Community residents can come to one of 25 service locations, knowing that they will be seen regardless of their ability to pay. With a network of nearly 100 medical providers and hundreds of clinical staff, we serve Manatee, Sarasota, and DeSoto counties. Our commitment to our patients is unparalleled, and we're proud to have received the Joint Commission Gold Seal accreditation for the past 16 consecutive years. Our physicians are dedicated to ensuring patients have access to comprehensive, quality health care, including specialty care throughout every stage of their lives. We are the largest federally qualified health center in the southeastern United States. Manatee County Rural Health Services receives less than 10% of its funding from federal grants, and for every dollar we receive, we provide $4.47 worth of medical services. Manatee County Rural Health Services actively participates in community health fairs and screenings, including vision, dental, diabetes, and cholesterol, identify health issues for many who might otherwise go undetected. This year, Dr. George Van Buren joined up with clinical and support staff to donate their time and talents to provide free sports exams to over 400 Manatee County students of all ages. We partner with many community service organizations, such as the Veteran Stand Down Program, and provide health care services to those in need. Our case managers focus on the whole person, often teaching patients how to help themselves. Our dedicated staff saw over 10,000 patients last year. We understand some of our patients are on tight budgets. Every client of Manatee County Rural Health Services has access to reduced priced medicines. Beyond these savings, the staff works with national drug companies to continue to make needed prescription drugs obtainable. Manatee County Rural Health Services is on the cutting edge for community health care centers. To ensure that we reach our entire community, we expanded our mental health services. A new OB/GYN center opened in West Manatee. Orthopedic services are now being offered to our patients. Manatee Pediatrics has been renovated to accommodate a growing demand. Dentrix, an electronic oral health record system, was implemented, enhancing patient care by providing better continuity of care by complementing our extensive electronic medical record system. Last year, local hospitals diverted approximately 65,000 non-emergency patients to our facilities. The cost savings to Medicaid and ultimately to the taxpayer was in the tens of millions of dollars.
We are a healthcare system that continues to anticipate and meet the needs of our community. I believe that our growth confirms what I know to be true, and that is Manatee County Rural Health Services is and continues to be an invaluable community asset, one worth coming to for your health care needs and one worth supporting.
A couple of elected officials I overlooked. Please forgive me. Barbara Harvey from the Manatee County School Board. Barbara. I apologize, my love. And School Board Member Bob Gause. Thank you so much for being here tonight. You know, Mickey's already been up here once, but just let me say a couple of words about what you just saw on that video and why some of that, most of that exists is because of this excellent board of directors for Manatee County Rural Health Services and specifically because of Mckay Presha. Mckay is a workaholic. He's a very generous individual that is involved in charitable organizations throughout Manatee County and beyond. And he's also the president and CEO of Manatee County Rural Health Services. Mckay Presha.
Good evening again. I was hoping my good friend Charlie would remember to recognize Bob Gause and especially Barbara Harvey, because I would have gotten a real earful by tomorrow or the next day. So thanks for doing that. One of the things that we never talk about is, even though we're the largest federally qualified health center in the southeastern United States, we're also the 12th largest in the whole country. You've now seen a brief video that highlights the great accomplishments of Manatee County Rural Health Services. I must say that I couldn't do that without the help of all of the people at Rural Health. And what we always say is that nobody at Rural Health is more important than the other ones. However, I need to at least recognize a few people who I think needs to be recognized. Dr. Van Buren, who I wished I could clone 100 times. Ray Fusco, guy who's running the Accountable Care Organization. I don't know if you guys remember seeing it in the press, but we were one of 89 selectees for the Accountable Care Organizations in the whole country last year. Shannon Stewartson, who's our new COO. Dr. Price, who's chairman of podiatry and specialty and primary health care service. Dr. Bill Colgate, who does so many things. I got him spread like peanut butter. And of course, Sylvia Camerani, who's my right hand. And most times when I go to these types of events, we don't always recognize some other people that do things very silently in the background. I see that we have with us tonight Mark Lazarus, who's used to be on our board, but now does a lot of consulting for us and keep us on the straight and narrow. Fran Reese Small, who's another consultant that takes care of getting our doctors and other providers, as well as doing some other things on the ACO side. And Pat Mechanic, who's a PR person. I would be completely remiss in my responsibility as the CEO if I didn't recognize the people who really have done a great job, as you've seen from that video, since 1978 when Rural Health was founded. We saw our first patient in 1979. Those board members, some of them have been on the board since I came in August of 1984. So I really appreciate all of the directors. I'm going to call them by name. One at our table is Wendy Lowry, our president. Our chairman of the board. Chairman of the board, not president, unless I just got fired. The Treasurer, Secretary, Livia Lavo. Vice Chairman, and I haven't seen him because he's so tall, Vice Chairman and past Chairman Gary Lowe, Chief. Dr. Carlos Mendez. Dr. Carlos Mendez is a very special guy. He came to work at Rural Health as a young commissioned scholar. Seems like 100 years ago, Carlos. And he turned the hospital upside down by moving the ward from the dark ages to the light years. So thanks again for your service, both as a staff member of the board, member Carlos. Patrick Carnegie. I've seen Pat someplace tonight. Esperanza Gamboa. I know I saw her. Yeah, she's here. Another very special board member, Judge Tom Gallen. The following members could not be with us tonight: Reggie Orozco, Stephen Wicker, Willie Weems, and of course, Lynette Edwards. Thank you all, board members. All of you bring your experiences, leadership, and guidance to the board and provide great support to me and the staff that we command on a daily basis. As our company moves forward, I'd like to be the first to tell you that Rural Health is going to be going mobile. Within the next month, you're going to see a couple of 40-foot vans, and one of them is going to be provided, or has been provided, by Florida Optometry Eye Health Fund. This group donated the funds that are making this van a reality. Dr. David Rubin, is he here? Thank you, Doctor. And another very special guy who was one of the people that hired me and used to be on the board of directors, Dr. John Lewis, who's responsible for spearheading it. Stand up, John. John's also a very special friend. Now it's time to focus on the man of the hour, a man who has done so much for this community. And I'm always proud when we can honor those people who do so much for this community before their demise. The honoree tonight is very vibrant and still kicking and doing great things. Dr. Graham is a Christian man, extremely dedicated family man. And if you look in your packet, you'll see on page 2 a great bio of Dr. Graham that is really too long for me to mention. I didn't know, however, that he was a pediatrician before he was a radiologist, so I learned that and have him as an honoree. And also he was an undergraduate school, a chemistry major with a minor in mathematics, so we'll have to get together and talk a little bit about some science. So now let's turn our time to the video of Dr. Graham. And Dr. Graham, congratulations again. We think you're one of the most fantastic people in the world. Dr. Graham not only takes care of the patients that we send him with insurance, but he also takes care of people who are uninsured. So he's our champion and our hero. Thanks, Dr. Graham.
I'm Dr. Richard Conard. Was a family practitioner in the community for many, many years, and met Angus in 1970 when he initiated his radiology practice. I had come to town in late 1967, and over the years have had a lot of pleasure and the privilege of not only knowing Angus and the family, Wileen and the children, socially but professionally working with Angus. One of the things that has always stricken me about Angus is the tremendously high integrity with which he approaches his work professionally and the level of dedication that he has. Talking to him recently, I realized that he hasn't changed his basic radiology cost structure since 1994 of all things, and yet they have the latest of technology and radiological diagnostic equipment. It's been a true pleasure to not only know him professionally, but to watch him and the integrity with which he performs his delivery of health care in our community. I wish him the greatest, and I think it's an honor being bestowed on him that is very well deserved. Angus, we think very, very highly of you in this community.
I have known Dr. Graham for the past 40 years. Our paths have crossed in many ways, the main one being through Christ Episcopal Church, where he has attended for 52 years. He has been involved forever with the youth groups in our church and molding many, many children's lives through his tireless dedication and commitment to the youth in our community. Remember all of us driving you crazy in the 70s, Dr. Graham? He always had an open house policy to all who needed help, including all the children from the youth groups. We certainly were not always the best angels we could be, but he did have Plan B. He had a beautiful little house next door to his where we could all go when we drove him crazy. It belonged to his wife's father, who was a beekeeper when she was growing up. Dr. Graham was blessed with 3 girls and 2 boys. He instilled lifelong values in all of his children and now his grandchildren. They are as loving and as caring as he is. He always told me as a young child, Linda, keep smiling because it is so contagious and it makes people feel good. Let me not forget his real rock in his world, his wonderful and strong wife, Wileen. She is his Energizer bunny, never stopping and keeping the good doctor involved in every aspect of this community. She really does rock. I can't think of a more deserving person to receive the Senator Edgar Price Jr. Lifetime Achievement Award. Dr. Graham has truly been a pillar in this community through the unselfish giving of his time and his talents. I am so proud of who he is and the extensive work this man has done and has accomplished to make our community of Bradenton a better place to live.
Rarely do you get a chance to publicly recognize and honor someone who has been a positive influence in your life. Tonight I'm privileged to do just that. Dr. Angus Graham is one of a handful of mentors that I've been lucky to have in my life. I have known Dr. and Mrs. Graham since grade school. My wife Allison and I grew up and went to school with their children, Angus, Davis, Rosemary, and Bonnie. From the beginning, I knew their family was special. Through various events and gatherings along the way, my relationship with Dr. Graham grew from him being one of my friend's fathers to someone I knew I wanted to know. It was when I was a freshman at Manatee Junior College that our paths crossed in a real meaningful way. I was looking at the job postings at the College Resource Center when I came across a posting that piqued my interest: outdoor work and beekeeping. I called Dr. Graham and then spent every day after school for the next 2 years raking the yard, trimming trees, and learning to be a beekeeper from Dr. Graham's father, Angus Graham Sr. Our relationship changed to a new level of respect when I became Dr. Graham's banker, and I learned that he was not only a talented medical doctor, but an astute businessman as well. It wasn't until I started working for Manatee County Rural Health Services that the window opened for me to understand the countless number of hours he gives in service to our community. He has been treating Manatee County Rural Health Services patients for over 20 years, regardless of their ability to pay, providing with state-of-the-art medical care while treating them with respect and dignity. I am a better man for knowing you, Dr. Graham. I have 4 beehives now myself. I'm passing on the many lessons I've learned from you to my children and nephews. I am glad to call you my friend.
Angus, this is a great honor for me to be here tonight, for you to receive this reward. This is a great occasion. You are deserving of this, very deserving. You have served mankind, you served your community well, you served your church well, you served the medical profession as an outstanding leader. You've been an inspiration to friends, and you've been an inspiration to mankind. I'd like to tell a story about the fence post. The fellow was walking down the road, he looked up on the fence post, there was something there he didn't recognize. He'd been by in the morning, it wasn't there. He went over and looked at it closer and discovered it was a turtle. Now he wondered, now how did that turtle climb up and get there? And he thought about it and thought about it for a long time. And then he decided, you know, the turtle didn't get there by itself. It had some help. There you are, Angus, you're the turtle. You had some help getting there. You had a helpmate along the way there. And she was with you at good times, bad times, sad times, happy times, good times. And her name was Wileen. And she helped put you up there on that post. Because, Angus, and also because of your honesty, sincerity, and your dedication has got you to where you are today. You deserve this honor.
I have known Dr. Graham for 24 years. He refers to me as his right-hand person. When he bought the practice, he started with 12 employees and with approximately 30 referring physicians. Dr. Graham instills many important values in his employees that continue to make Manatee Diagnostic Center a success today. Dr. Graham always takes care of every patient that walks through our doors, including patients from One Stop. He is very supportive of many local organizations. Even though the medical field has been hit with reimbursement cuts over the past several years, we still make efforts to support the American Cancer Society, the Manatee County Children's Services, We Care, Hope Family Services, and CareNet, just to name a few. Dr. Graham is a hands-on radiologist. I have personally seen him wheel patients over to the hospital in a wheelchair, or even pull out his own jumper cables to assist patients who had a dead car battery. No matter how busy his day might be, Dr. Graham will take time to help his staff or patients when they need assistance. Dr. Graham is a wonderful man to work with, and he is so deserving of this award. Dr. Graham, I and the staff of Manatee Diagnostic Center thank you for always encouraging and praising us. And now it's your turn tonight to be the recipient of many praises. We are so blessed to have such a wonderful man to lead our company. Thank you for being who you are and for giving so much to our community.
We lived over in Saudi Arabia back in the late 60s, and it was like living with Indiana Jones. And behind every Indiana Jones is an awesome woman, and that's my mother. One particular case happened down in the Arab Emirates. Back then we called the Trucial States. And in order to go from one Trucial state to the other, you had to go through a border. The thing you had to do was you had to get permission from one sheikh to the other to cross through. Well, as we were coming up with another family, there was a group of Swedes that came up and they said, hey, don't cross through that border. The sheikh's not there. It'll take you 2-3 days. Go around this way and you can bust the border and nobody will know. So we followed their lead. We went around and we came out onto a subka, which is about 4 inches of mud and salt. And we're running the border, and we were running with this other family. Our cars got side by side to each other and they got stuck, and it just sunk right down into the subka. And so we had nowhere to go, and before you knew it, we saw these blue Jeeps riding around with these machine gun turrets, and Mom and Dad put us into craters that were left behind from seismic testing for oil. They were scared, we were scared, and then all of a sudden, around from where we had come, came a big truck with soldiers, and I don't know if my dad put his hands up in the air or what, but we surrendered, and they took us back to the border crossing and put us in jail, and soon after the sheik came and let us go. But it was great. I love working for my dad. I love living with my dad in spirit, and I love my mom, and I love you, Dad, and thanks for all that you've done.
What a great tribute, Dr. Graham, and I really want to thank Charlie Clapsaddle and his staff at METV for producing that for us here tonight. And now yes, give them a hand, would you please? And as Mckay said, as we steer toward this part of the program, as we steer it toward Dr. Graham, I now would ask the chairman of the Manatee County Commission, Larry Bustle, to come forward with a proclamation.
On behalf of Manatee County government, I'm very honored and personally very pleased to read a proclamation from the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County, Florida. Whereas Dr. Angus W. Graham's life exemplifies a selfless devotion to the well-being of all mankind, regardless of race, creed, color, or socioeconomic status. And whereas his life is a shining example of providing quality medical care for the youth of this community when he practiced pediatrics. And whereas as the medical director and guiding heart for Manatee Diagnostic Center, Dr. Graham has enhanced the lives of the community, and in particular the underserved, by providing diagnostic radiology. And whereas he has guided the growth of Manatee Diagnostic Center since 1988 and built the company's reputation for outstanding care and compassion. And whereas Dr. Graham answered the call to public service with grace, dignity, and determination, and for that our community has been enriched. And whereas with great admiration and respect and sincere gratitude for his dedication to community and service, the Manatee County Rural Health Services Foundation honors Angus W. Graham, Jr., MD. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Manatee County, Florida, that November 6, 2013 shall be known, designated, and set aside as Dr. Angus W. Graham Day in Manatee County, Florida.
Stay there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And so now we've hit D-Day. Now's the time that we've been waiting for tonight, this moment where we actually personally honor Dr. Graham for his good work in this community for the many, many years. And to do that, we ask Mickey Presha and Senator Mckay to come by forward for those presentations.
And before I do that, let me very quickly recognize one of my senior vice presidents, Jeff Zimmerman, and VP Alan Adams. Also, without the assistance of Sharon Wall, Sir Charles Clapsatter, and Grapevine for catering this great event, it would not have gone as smoothly. So thank you very much. Dr. Graham.
I asked my wife to come up here. She has helped me do everything that I've ever done. And she's not going to give this talk, but I wanted everybody to see her and know what a lovely woman she is.
Thank you. Dr. Graham.
Thank you very much. Oh, wow. This is very good.
It's my privilege to present Angus with Dr. Graham with the 6th Annual Senator Edgar Price Jr. Lifetime Achievement Award from Manatee County Rural Health Services Foundation. And it reads to Dr. Angus Graham, Jr., in appreciation for a lifetime of loyal and dedicated services to the citizens of Manatee County, November 6, 2013. Congratulations, Dr. Graham.
Thank you. Is it time for me to talk for an hour or two? Oh, thank you. Maybe find a place to put all these things. I have never heard my name mentioned so many times in public that it is a little unnerving. I actually don't think I could have anything like this, even if I were lying in a coffin. It's nice to enjoy it this way. Yeah, so I can see it and hear it. Thank you all very much. And thank you all for coming to support the Manatee County Rural Health Services Foundation. I am very proud to be a part of this award, this Lifetime Achievement Award, named for and in honor of Senator Edgar H.PRICE, Jr. He spent, as you have heard, his career fighting for the rights of the indigent to receive quality medical care. First, before I go further, can everybody hear me? Okay, all right. Tonight's function has been given the title, Images of Caring. which sounds like something that a radiologist might have something to do with, like x-rays, CT scans, MRIs. But images of caring can be images of our mind, in our mind. Remembrances of things of the past. Special moments in time. And I would like to tell 3 stories. 13 minutes. There are more stories that I could tell, more than 13 minutes, but I have been assured with certainty that they'll turn out the lights if I talk too much. The first story is when I had a chance to be a pediatrician for the Aramco Oil Company in Saudi Arabia in the 1960s. That was a long time ago. To set the scene, when we were there in the 60s, 90% of the people lived just like in biblical times. The vast desert around us was just like you may have seen in the movie Lawrence of Arabia. Scenes across from our house were like you saw it, possibly in that movie. The hospitals that we worked in were built in the middle of the desert. We took care of everyone, whether they were oil company employees or not. The Americans were healthy. 99% of our patients were Saudi Arabs. Now, this first story is a true story. I was a part of it. It is almost unbelievable. It is not to be taken as a put down. Please understand that I'm telling you this story because it is true and gives some insight into what a magical thing modern Western medicine was to these people back in the 1960s. The Bedou, or Bedouin, who lived in tents and moved about the desert with their sheep, goats, and camels to wherever they could graze. And also to villagers who lived in the oases. We worked out of 5 hospitals, 3 operated by Aramco and 2 by Lebanese. Daily pediatric census was approximately 100. It was the busiest department in the Aramco medical complex. One morning, I was asked to go immediately to one of the Lebanese hospitals. A father was very unhappy when he came to pick up his child who was being discharged. When I arrived there, the father told me that 3 weeks before, he had brought his sick son in and he was admitted. A nurse was standing by and holding an infant wrapped in a blanket. Then the father told me, through an excited translator, when I brought my son in, he was about this high, he had teeth, and he walked. That's the way he said it. Well, it didn't take long for us to figure out that earlier that same day, that same morning, another father had been summoned to pick up his son for discharge. The staff quickly checked the records. Both children were to be charged that day. Both lived in the same area, and they had very similar names. There had been a swap. The father that brought the infant in took the bigger boy home earlier that morning without asking any questions. Well, we found the big boy and the father. He lived on an island about 3 miles off the coast of Saudi Arabia, a total distance of about 30 miles from the hospital. We found them just about dark, and we asked the father, how could you come to the hospital and take a big boy home when only 3 weeks earlier you brought in an infant? I want you to know that the father was very humbled by that question. He spoke to us very softly and honestly and intelligently and said, none of my family have ever seen or been in a hospital. You have a famous reputation. And when they brought this boy to me to take home, I didn't ask questions because I did not know what you can do in such a place. Well, the swap was unswapped. The big boy thought the father had sent a friend to pick him up. The point of this story is that we don't know what other people think about hospitals and medicine unless we are involved in such situations. This holds true in parts of the world today. We were in Saudi Arabia for a total of 6 years. When we returned to the USA, I entered residency and changed specialties and came back to Bradenton as a radiologist. Now, before going on, I want to thank the Rural Health Service and Colonel Walter Mckay Presha and his committee for even considering me for this award. And Mckay, I thank you for your service to our country. A Silver Star, a Legion of Merit, Purple Heart. At one time, you were a platoon leader in Vietnam. I know that other members of the foundation have also served. And I thank you all for that service. Thank you very much. Okay, number 2 story. I've had the privilege of working with many of the great doctors of Manatee County. The few that I will mention have all passed on. Dr. W.D. Sugg, Dr. Willett Wenzel, Dr. Ed Dickerson, Dr. Joe Gainey, Dr. Irving Hall, Dr. Albert Knowles. There were others. But there are many greats still with us today. Now, this story that I want to tell is about Dr. Wenzel. He loved to tell new, young doctors how it was in the old times. He came to Bradenton about 1937, 23 years before I arrived. I met Dr. Wenzel in the hospital one evening. He had finished his rounds and apparently had some time. And he said, Angus, I want to tell you of a home delivery that I made several years ago. It was in late evening. I found the wife having considerable pain with the delivery, and she needed some help with that pain. All I had in my bag, and we all had little black bags and made house calls at that time, was ether to relieve her pain, which would have been okay, but the house had no electricity, only oil lamps and kerosene lamps. Dr. Winslow asked me, he said, Angus, how would you give ether to help this lady with all that fire around? Well, I wasn't ready for an answer, and I told him I didn't know. Well, he said, the husband and I cleared off the kitchen table. We got the wife up on the table. We pulled the table up to a window, closed the window. I sent the husband outside the house with a kerosene lamp, and he blew out all of the oil lamps in the house. Then gave the wife some ether. She quieted down. There was enough light, kept on telling me the story, coming through the window for me to see, and the delivery, and also to deliver the baby. The baby was fine. The wife was relieved. The husband was happy, and the house didn't blow up. Now the last story. Now I have to tell you about my wife. That's why I wanted her to come up. After I had become a radiologist and developed a radiology practice of my own, I came home one day and told Wileen I was going to stop taking Medicaid because it didn't pay much. This time, the house did blow up. Wileen's response came in a very strong voice with lots of body language. She pointed at me and said, "You are going to take Medicaid. Those people need help. They need your help. They are part of this community. We are part of this community. And you need to help them, and you are going to take Medicaid." That was the end of that. I was sorry I even opened my mouth. In closing, I want to let you know that I am eternally thankful for the doctors of Manatee County and my wife. They molded my life. They guided me and taught me that if you want something done right, then you should be ready. You might have to do it yourself, and you might have to think out of the box. And I must take the chance of talking too long and having the lights turned out to thank the clerical staff, the technologists, the IT staff, the administrative staff, the radiologist at Manatee Diagnostic Center for guiding me and helping me all these years. All 87 of them are professionals. Thank you very much. I humbly thank the Rural Health Foundation for this honor that you have bestowed on me. You all have given me a night to remember. Thank you. I didn't expect that. Finally, I want to say that as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Thank you all for coming, and God bless America.
Dr. Graham, please know that it was an honor for us to be able to honor you tonight. And I would like to thank all of you, ladies and gentlemen, each and every one of you that has joined with us to be here on this special occasion, this 6th Edgar H. Price Achievement Awards dinner. As you, and let me, I know Mickey's already thanked her, but let me do it too. Sharon Wall, I don't know where you went. There she is. Thank you so much, honey, because I'm almost sure I was mistake-free tonight, and if I was, it was because of you. You kept me straight. Thank you, Sharon Wall. Thanks once again, and have a safe trip home. Thank you.